Let's go. I'll just apologise for us being late.
Oh, hang on. Stream registration broadcast not be found. Persistent key. One of them's working. Right, wait.
Hello and welcome to Thank God It's Friday. Apologies for being a little late. This is our third broadcast, and once again we're here for a positive evening where we get together to celebrate what has been good this week. We did have lined up for you a really fantastic interview. I won't tell you who's with because he is going to come on again. Due to technical problems, which we've been beset with, he's not able to join us, but we've still got lots of great material for you this evening. And I'm here with my cup of tea to share with you the good news stories here in the Wirral, the UK and beyond. Because here we are in the 5th week of lockdown, and it's easy to get weighed down by all the bad news around and the trials and tribulations of staying at home or maybe working during this difficult time. But it's even more important that we take some time out to appreciate what's good in the world. And as we've seen in our last 2 programmes, there is always good news. And I don't know about you, but I keep finding lots of examples of good things coming out of the bad. Now we've got an exciting programme for you this evening. And so we'll just... And our resident tech expert, Alex, will be chatting with me tonight about all our stories. Say hi, Alex.
Hello, everyone. Can everybody hear me? Just check that I'm live. Yes, I think I'm live. Okay, so after last week's failures, which you seem to, as Elaine said, to be beset with, I felt that I probably couldn't stand up in the shoes that Ruth did. Our fantastic guest that we had last week, of course, she certainly probably makes a better presence than I am. Bearing that in mind, just have a quick look at this.
Now we have a guest with us this evening, Ruth Abbott. Say hello, Ruth.
Hello, everybody. I'm very excited to be here. This is my social media debut.
So how excited was she? So hopefully I can do something similar along those lines. So I'm going to be the moderator tonight, and I'm also going to be Elaine's guest. So try not to take over the show. So I'll be looking at the comments that you're going to be putting on Facebook and YouTube. So do feel free to put comments up.
Okay, thanks, Alex. And last but not least, of course, there are all of you joining us here tonight, and we would love to have your input. So please feel free to comment on Facebook while this programme is being presented. And if you have some good news stories of your own, we would love to hear those too. And as ever, we're focusing on the good news and steering well clear of politics. So tonight we're starting by looking at some new and exciting creative talents. And first up is someone using their amazing editing talents. So let's have a look. fantastic. And next up is people using their talents to take photos of their pets dressed as elderly Russian ladies. Hashtag babushka dogs. Great. I think that last one looked really startled. And now we celebrate musical talent as this group have recorded a belting coronavirus song, Staying Inside. Great skills there. Fantastic. Okay, so Alex, what did you make of that first lot of creatives?
First lot of creatives. Well,
Yeah.
certainly the conductor, I think, hat off has to go to the VFX guy rather than the editor. That was pretty outstanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, really interesting to have that. I love the doggos. I'm a big fan of doggos. I think the key thing is it's made me feel inspired to do something with our dogs. Don't you think we should do something with Dilly and Fennel?
Yes, they'd
Do
probably suit babushka headscarves, yes.
Do something for them next week.
We could do, we'll try.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, thanks, Alex. Okay, so we're going on to the next section now. So next section is update on our resident hero, Captain Tom. Now, the first week of our show, Captain Tom Moore, war veteran, we saw him walk the 100 laps of his garden to raise now more than 32 million for the NHS. And last week, we were able to announce that Captain Tom's cover version of You'll Never Walk Alone with Michael Ball and the NHS Voices of Care Choir had hit the #1 spot in the UK singles chart. Now, this week, there's more to report, as yesterday was Captain Tom's 100th birthday. Now, he received more than 140,000 cards. And here they are, having been put in the hall of Captain Tom's grandson's school. It's incredible, isn't it? Just to look at that vista of a whole mass of cards. There's just so many. I just wonder if he's ever actually going to have a chance to look at them all. But that's a terrific thing for him, isn't it, to receive so many cards on his 100th birthday. Absolutely marvellous. I wonder if she's going to have time to look through them all.
You can just see them coming over the tree line now. So Tom, if you just look straight ahead there.
Oh yes, you see them.
They're both utterly beautiful to fly, and I'll let everybody listen now to the lovely sound of the Hurricane and Spitfire.
Great stuff. So come on then, Alex, what do you make of Captain Tom?
Well, he's fantastic in my book. He's inspirational to everybody, and it's amazing to see that many cards. Don't you normally get that many cards each Christmas? No, perhaps not. I'm just actually astounded by what he's done, and I'm like thinking, what's he going to do next week? He seems to have like the whole country in their hearts, and it's fantastic to see that.
I'd heard also that Captain Tom had an appearance in Blankety Blank. Is that right?
Oh, that's right.
I'm sure I'd seen that on the news somewhere. Is that right?
Let's
Alex?
do this. This is better. So I don't have to faff with mics. Right, yeah. Let's grab that. Let's merge that in.
Tom, have you got family or anybody you'd rather not be watching this?
Yes, it's 2 girls.
Yes.
Coming up 16, coming up 14.
Too old for this rubbish. Tom, nothing did. When the great Orlando felt that he could have done himself a lot of damage, luckily, Tom, he saved himself by grabbing hold of his partner's
Tights.
tights. Still, the blankety blank checkbook and pen. You'll be able to show to your grandchildren for many a year. Thank you for joining us, Tom Moore.
And that's great, isn't it? I think I was thinking as I'd watched that earlier, and Terry Wogan was saying to think about telling his grandchildren about the blankety blank checkbook and pen, except the grandchildren probably say, well, what's a checkbook? It's amazing how times have moved on, isn't it? And of course, Captain Tom isn't the only one raising money or contributing in other ways to the NHS. We've got a couple of other examples. The first one, a company called Thorful, in partnership with its printing partner Pro-C Print, is donating 500 PPE visors a day to the NHS frontline. In that partnership, they're using laser cutting and assembly technology to produce the vital supplies. And furthermore, in honour of Captain Tom Moore's birthday, Thoughtful is donating 100% of its profits for every 100th birthday card sold in the run-up to Captain Tom's birthday. So that's a great donation. And in another story, abandoned bicycles are being donated to key workers. This is Andre Noble, a mechanic at bicycle repair service called Handlebars, and he's collecting abandoned bikes from Southern Rail to restore and give to key workers free of charge. Andre Noble has assessed all 272 bikes, and he said, "We've seen a ton of bikes in various conditions. Only the safe ones will go out to key workers, and the rest will need a bit of love first." So another good contribution there. And now, for a bit of light relief, let's have a look at the different ways in which people are coping with lockdown. And I wonder if you can recognise yourself in these reactions to quarantine. Let's have a look.
When you read, you begin with ABC.
Is anyone hungry? Yeah, I know we just had lunch, but is anybody hungry again?
This is a huge marketing ploy by the hand sanitizer companies. It's actually the 5G attacking our brains. It's the aliens.
I am going to build a shed from scratch. Underfloor basement.
Hi, Mom! Oh, I can only see your forehead. Oh, you turned off the microphone. You turned off the camera, Mom.
Oh my god.
Are you okay?
This itchy bum symptom.
Did somebody just cough?
Have a vitamin.
Spent the day in bed.
Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Did you wash his hands? The vaccine is going to turn us into robots. Who wants rustic garlic stew? Happy birthday to you.
Did you just sneeze?
Wash your hands.
Well, yeah, I think that just about sums up all the different ways of getting through the lockdown. I don't think I come into the category of the obsessive cleaner, but, you know, I can recognise bits of some of the others. Okay, so now we've come to the part in our programme where we're having a little bit of a chat. So, Alex, does anything come up on our comments?
Okay, just looking on Facebook, most of them are just hellos. Trish Williamson's here, Gay White, Robert Woodburn. Ruth Abbott, I think she came in after I put that little clip up of her last week, so you're going to have to catch that and catch up. We've got a few lurkers, Kathleen Wood, and your mum, Shirley, is here as well.
Great.
So, yeah, that's who we've got with us this week.
Hello to everyone. That's everyone who's announced themselves. So
Yeah.
if you haven't been announced, it doesn't mean you're not important. Obviously, we know there are other people watching too. So a very warm welcome to all of you. So that's great stuff. I don't know, Alex, whether you recognise yourself in anybody in that video. It showed a little bit of all the things that everybody's doing.
Absolutely. The sanitising hands, for sure. Unable to get hold of the hand sanitizer wipes, so I'm now using floor wipes, you know, and I take a packet with me every time I go shopping, so wipe all the trolley and everything like that. Yeah, absolutely.
And learning new skills in terms of filming and stuff. I think there's quite a few people I know are trying to learn something new or do something different.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. Trying to stream a broadcast live, which is as complex as this, is proving to take its toll a little bit, but I'm getting there. It's quite complicated.
Yeah, doing very well. So what do you think? We've been talking a lot about people who are contributing. We talk a lot about the NHS, for very good reasons too, doing a fantastic job. And is there anybody else who you think deserves a bit of a shout out tonight?
Well, I was thinking about this today, and I'm trying to think that my world right now, whilst I'm being furloughed from my job, is I'm 100% of my time spending working on content for this streaming process that we're doing, and I am loving every moment of it. It is what I consider to be my ministry. So the only time I'm going out is when I go to the shops, and it struck me this morning just how difficult it is going to shops. I mean, I suffer a little bit with anxiety anyways, and these guys working in store, I know what it's like to work in a shop. I did actually work in Asda in Liskeard over the holiday season at Christmas, and I just recognised today that people are quite stressed. They set out these rules and regulations that we're supposed to try and comply with, which is the routing round the supermarket. You follow the things on the floor, and I suppose I get a bit stressed because sometimes some people are a bit defiant of those rules, which I find quite upsetting because it's not just about them, it's about everybody in store. I think what I find amazing is that most people are actually conforming, and it is such a difficult time. But when I looked at some stats before this morning, the questions that were going out to people was, about the lifting of the lockdown. How do people feel? Do people feel it's too soon? Do people getting too stressed with the fact that they're under lockdown? And what I find astonishing is, as a nation, the British resolve is fantastic. Mm-hmm. The majority of people do genuinely believe that we don't come out of this too soon, and that we do the staggered approach. And I think that's something I kind of recognise, not through my own personal experience, but perhaps from wartime, that people got together with each other and stuck to their guns, and it's something that I think is quintessentially British. Yeah,
I would agree. I think in a crisis, I think we can see people do, well, not just pull together as well. It's that, as you say, that sort of spirit of, people. There's a lot of people who find the lockdown very difficult for lots of different reasons, and yet people are sticking with it, and they're making the efforts, and they're making that sacrifice, because it is a sacrifice, isn't it, that people are making and making the best of and doing whatever they can. And I think there is a real spirit there, isn't there, of British spirit of I don't know what the word is. It's bringing together community, isn't it? But resilience, I suppose, really. Yeah. Resilience. When times get difficult, I think people are very resilient, and I think that's really shown through.
I remember watching a chap online on YouTube. It was during March, and he's a really interesting doctor that talked about COVID-19. I was following it quite eagerly from the outset, when it became kind of more aware, really, right at the beginning of March. And I remember making a comment about my perception of the British public, that saying that I do believe that we all stand tall and we do have this resolve. There's something unique about us as a country, I think, that I'm not quite sure. I mean, you consider this versus what's going on in the States, which they're making quite public things of what's going on about trying to stop the lockdown and start opening shops, and I just think, I can't believe that they're kind of thinking that. Yeah. So for me, aside from the things that I see today, like my experience of going shopping, that sometimes you have not necessarily the best of shopping experiences, but the key thing for people, I think, that need to think about that is that you need to plan for it. You need to have your shopping list, you need to follow and conform and stuff like that. And I just think that when people aren't planning for probably one of the biggest events of their day, which is to go shopping, they just need to think a bit more carefully. But yeah, I think you've always got the odd one, haven't you? That sort of thing. But the reality is that we're great at this. Yeah, and I do think, the shop workers as well are doing a fantastic job of trying to make sure that we do not forget to social distance and following the lines, the arrows around the shop and that sort of thing. I do think our
our frontline workers there are doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is that they've got security there, but it's not really policed, and it's tough for them. So, you know, they are doing an amazing thing, because they're, again, like any other key worker, they're putting themselves potentially in harm's way.
Yes,
so, you know,
absolutely.
We've got a couple of comments, actually, if I
Okay,
may.
have you got anything to...
Your mum said, hello everyone, we loved the dogs. Yeah, me too. Me
yeah,
too.
they're good, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
The dogs are always a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, great
And
stuff.
my mum says, I have become a cleaner.
Ah, but somebody who cleans, she become one of those people who are cleans all the time.
Oh, a cleaner. I see.
Cleaner.
Oh, right, from the quarantine
video.
bit. So constantly cleaning.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't suppose you'll be in the mood when the smoke clears. You can come round here, can't you? No? No. Okay, perhaps not.
Yeah.
Ruth Faber, I would like to sleep through lockdown.
Yes, I know the feeling. Sometimes
Yeah.
it feels like that, doesn't it? Yeah.
All the sleepers.
Yeah.
Kathleen's trying to learn a new skill. She's learning to crochet.
Oh, good for her. Great.
Yes.
It's nice to do those things that you never ever get round to, isn't it? You know, because now, not for everybody, but obviously for a lot of people, have got time that they didn't expect to have. And yeah, it's sort of trying to find a focus, isn't it? And it's a great chance to learn a new skill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kathleen's also wishing, a big congratulations to Boris and Carrie for the birth of their new baby boy.
Yes, absolutely. That was a good news story
great.
this week, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Safe birth of their
good news.
baby. That's lovely news. Yeah.
Okay, and Trish, she is just starting her 9th week of lockdown.
Wow.
Well, and she's cleaning one room day by day to spin things out. Oh, okay. You'll probably be in the garden with a pair of scissors next to the lawn. Make it long enough.
I thought one of the funniest ones was the woman who kept providing food when nobody was hungry.
We've just had lunch. Yeah, we've just eaten.
Yeah.
Is anyone still hungry?
It's just having that focus, isn't it?
I have to admit, I have put a few pounds on. Yeah,
I think you're probably common with lots of us.
Yeah.
Very, very tempting. But no, well, thanks for your comments, everybody. That was great.
Yeah,
for
keep
those
them
comments
coming.
that put
Keep
up.
them coming,
Yeah, keep them
'cause I can feed them
coming.
in. Yeah.
You know, happy to have a chat through some of those things. That's great. Okay, so I think we're probably ready to go back to a few other things to show you. We're now come to what I call the recovery section. And first of all, I want to give you, this is just one example of good news. This is from Florida, of a change in crime behaviour. Because CBS News reported this week that Miami has gone 7 weeks without a homicide, and that's the first time since 1957. And they think it's due to a combination of people staying at home and the increased police visibility. But, you know, what a great statistic. Okay, now we're going to move on to sort of human recoveries, because last week we looked at some examples of older people who've recovered from COVID-19. And this week I want to share a couple of examples of some of our youngest members recovering from this terrible virus. First of all, we've got a 3-week-old girl who's recovered from the coronavirus to the delight of her parents. Her name's Peyton Maguire, and she's believed to be Scotland's youngest coronavirus patient. And she was born 8 weeks prematurely on March the 26th. And after being cared for in an incubator in the neonatal unit, the 3-pound 11-ounce baby tested positive for COVID-19 on April the 15th, despite not having any symptoms. And of course, she had to go into isolation, but the hospital staff kindly agreed that Peyton's mum, Tracy, could isolate with her in the hospital. And Tracy said watching the staff at work was incredible. She said they put their lives at risk to make sure my baby was getting fed and cuddled. And even wearing their PPE, they were determined to hold her. And gladly, Peyton is now at home. And another example closer to home here, a 6-month-old baby who was born with a heart condition has beaten coronavirus after spending 2 weeks in a high dependency unit. Nurses and doctors at Alder Hey Children's Hospital in Liverpool formed a guard of honour for Erin Bates as she was moved from isolation to another ward to continue her recovery. Erin, from Bury, underwent open heart surgery shortly after birth, and she'll continue to receive treatment for ongoing conditions at the hospital. And her mother, Emma Bates, thanked the NHS workers who'd looked after Erin, describing them as truly amazing. That's a great story. So this week we've looked at and talked about a lot of different good news stories tonight. And it really brought home to me how many people are focused on putting their own interests to one side in order to help others. How in a crisis people are showing a real heart for others. And as ever, I'm thankful to God for the good things that we see happening. And I asked a question last week about what people are holding on to in this difficult time, what sustains you. And for me, it's my faith. It's like having an anchor, keeping me grounded when times are hard, and the comfort of knowing that God is bigger than this crisis and our attempts to manage it. But perhaps it's something different for you. Someone said to me that they're helped through prayer, and I think that praying is something that many people turn to when things are going very badly, even if they don't consider themselves to have any particular faith. What about you? Do you have any thoughts to share? Maybe there's something else that helps you. I'd love to hear from you. And I'd like to finish tonight with a couple of interesting clips about our fellow creatures. First up is Colton Mark II, the cuckoo, who has smashed the migration record by flying 4,000 miles from Africa to England in 7 days. Now, cuckoos normally take 2 or 3 weeks to reach the UK on their migration journey. He was apparently helped by southerly winds, and he arrived in the UK last week, stopping off at 3 golf clubs before returning to his breeding grounds at the Carlton Colville Nature Reserve in Suffolk. Well done to him. And finally, we'll finish with this wonderful result of people staying at home throughout the world. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show. Don't forget to give us your comments, share your stories with us, any questions, please do put it up on comments or in Facebook Messenger, and we really look forward to seeing you again next week.